Hello people, this is V. So previously on episode 2, we were looking at JFK's inauguration, his struggle to accomplish his mission, and his unfortunate death. Then we were looking at the Buddhist riot and the anti-war protest, and etc. Now we've come down to episode 3. The episode lasts for nearly 2 hours, begins by introducing Mogi Denton Crocker. At a very young age, he was so passionate about American history and heroes. He wanted it badly that his parents allowed him to serve in the military as an underage boy and decided to leave until they agreed. So there was this moment he came home telling his sister that he didn't want to go back to the military anymore. And this made me question myself how desperate the war was with the intervention of America in Vietnam, while the citizens were being blindfolded by the government so that they wouldn't interfere and affect the result of the war. And aside from that, the Battle of Binza revealed to me that the American commanders only care about their purpose and they always put it on top their interest. During the battles, 4 Americans were dead, and as well as the South Vietnamese soldiers who got caught in an ambush. Some were injured and survived. Then the US helicopter came for the rescue, and then they only picked up the body of their own people, leaving behind the desperate Vietnamese soldiers and ignoring them. Personally, I think that this episode is more of an American perspective. During the Vietnam War, the journalists were revealing the truth of what was happening in Vietnam and the fact that the people living in the US and the soldiers in Vietnam were both clueless of what was going on in both countries. Many journalists died while doing their job, trying to report the reality of what their leaders been doing in the war. Frank Stanton, the head of CBS, which based on President Johnson, he worked for the Communist Broadcasting System. Stanton caught on tape the deconstruction of farmer houses that was done by the American soldiers, and he said that this could be hard for the Vietnamese to think that the US was on their side. So later on, Mr. President called Stanton and said this, which I feel it's a little bit inappropriate for the president to say that to the people, and it is threatening to have the president say that, which feels like he can come and kill you at any moment for doing the right thing. Moscow and China was providing aid to the North Vietnam so they could destroy the ARVN. After Johnson's inauguration, he was afraid of Saigon's collapse and called for the Operation Rolling Thunder. He ordered dropping bombs, napalm, and Agent Orange, bringing death and deconstruction to the innocent people that was living in North Vietnam. Those chemical weapons had disfigured many people, and it affected a lot of generations afterwards. One of American soldiers pulled their colleagues out after the napalm accidentally fell into the zones. He said that he could feel the bone and flesh from his hand. I couldn't imagine how terrifying the situation was. So far from episode 1, I think this is just a different perspective. Seeing the graphic stuff from both sides, I think to me, the Americans were just as bad as the Vietnamese, if not then worse, because they were killing thousands of people from both sides, and it shed the two countries into pieces. Overall, I really like how the movie was so informative with the help of the interviewee and the recordings from the government that Ken Burns was putting together. And it gave me a better understanding of the Vietnamese history and what they had to go through in order to make the country a better place. My question is, was American intervention a blessing or a curse? I think it could be both, because it's obvious that they wanted to stop communism from spreading through Asia. But I think they were doing it the wrong way, because the war had killed so many innocent lives and it took away their families. It also shattered the two countries into pieces.